plus fast gas as we take a look at what's going on here. It's 5-3, the Yankees on top. And a pitching change is made. Ian Kennedy done, as we told you. Royals making some moves. And the Yankees both making some moves as some roster shifting. Chien-Ming Wang takes the rock. And the right-hander, the veteran.
Where's Chien-Ming Wang? I don't think I would have believed that if someone said Phil Koch won't be the most random ex-Yankee pitcher in this game. By the way, Ian Kennedy was felled, by the way, in an 80-mile-an-hour exit velocity. Tough luck for him. Remember Chien-Ming Wang when he was with the Yankees? I know everybody, 19 wins, fine, whatever. But he got so lucky with some of those teams because they had a good offense. He struck out nobody, but he got a ton of ground balls. And then he basically just fell off the face of the earth. And I believe he was working with the guy who brought back Scott Kazmir in terms of trying to regain his velocity, and he's back.
Yeah, well, he's I think. Again, I know we don't talk about batting averages here, but they're hitting 317 off him this year in 8 games. So he's not fooling a lot of people.
No, he's a ground ball guy. Throws a sinker 70% of the time. He gets ground balls, great. If not, it ends poorly.
And this is his spot. This is exactly where you want to feel about a ground ball guy.
Yeah, looking to get a couple of outs. The Taiwanese native, 36 years old, Tainan City in Taiwan. And when he was a Yankee for those 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, for those 4+ years, he rolled up 99 double plays, and his ground ball rate was 2.3 to 1. So you're right, that's exactly what he was. Pitched to an ERA of over 4 as a New York Yankee. Even did some time on his way back, pitching for the South Maryland Blue Crabs of the Atlantic League. He did some independent league baseball to find his way back.
Who among us hasn't pitched for the South Maryland Blue Claws?
I would have loved to. I would have loved to. I'd still do it if they're out there.
Maybe on the Sonoma Stompers in the next couple of years. Little Finn Lindbergh shout.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Brett Gardner's 0 for 3. All the outs are in the air for Brett. He's 2 for 13 with 3 walks in this series.
Not a ton of speed on the bases right now, right? You got Chase Headley, you have Austin Romine. This is exactly the place you need a ground ball to get that double play.
Oh, how far does it kick away? The base runners do not move up.
That's fear of Perez's arm.
Salo smiles there. He wants to keep that double play alive. He's a charismatic man, isn't he?
He is beloved in Kansas City. Of all those guys, they love Hosmer, they love Gordon, but it's Perez.
I've never, maybe not never, but I can't remember a time where a team has really torn up an extension they had signed to give someone that they didn't have to give him a new deal, and they did just because they felt he was being underpaid. Granted, that was one of the most team-friendly.
Unbelievably.
Was it 5 years and $7 million total? That's insane.
He just turned 26. Just 2 days ago, turned 26 years old.
But then, with considering as many games as he catches, he may be 35 for catcher years.
But he's really interesting. Some of the stuff we can track. He is one of the best at pop time. Right. So pop time is a measure of how quickly the catcher gets the ball to the second baseman or the shortstop. The pops are the pop to his glove and the pop to the second baseman's glove. So we actually have him as being tied for 3rd best this year, which is pretty good, behind Maldonado and JT Realmuto, which is important, I think, because if you look at his on-base percentage since his first year of 2011, it has dropped literally every single year. From 361, I'm not going to read them all, but all the way down to 271 this year. And you can see the pop time here. Some of those guys are kind of like the known backup catchers of the world, but Perez is really good. Young Jones is really good.
That's the average, huh?
That's the average.
That's spectacular.
That is very, very good. The average this year is 1.99.
Right.
So let's say 2 seconds, and he is above average. And it may not sound like tenths of a second really matter that much, but they absolutely do, right? You see how bang these plays are at second base, and this is the opposite of what Chien-Ming Wang.
Yes, this is not what he needs to be doing.
This is this is not the idea.
Yeah, you talk about Perez's on-base percentage going down. that is exactly what they've said about his overuse. There's really no question. He has been used more than any other catcher in baseball.
Yeah, he is. Even Yadi Molina is like, wow, you must be tired.
Yeah,
right.
3,812 innings caught since 13. That's number 1. You guys are both right. Number 1 in baseball.
I'm going to drop something on you were talking about on-base percentage. Okay. Over the last 30 seasons, there have been 880 players who have come to the plate 2,000 times. His walk rate is the 6th lowest. He does not take a walk. He will swing at I remember Bumgarner in the World Series.
I was just thinking the exact same thing when you said that.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
when you get 2 strikes on him, you're like, yeah, this is.
It's like, here's what's going to happen. Bumgarner's not going to throw it anywhere near the plate. He's going to go after it, and the Giants are going to win the World Series. And it's exactly what happened.
It's almost as if maybe he should have ran for home. No, he shouldn't have run for home. No, he shouldn't have run for home.
He would have been neat.
For Wong, it was shoulder surgery in 2009 that had him had to rebuild his career and ended his time with the Yankees. Bases are full. He's trying to get his Yankees. So he's gone 93 and then a really good follow-up breaking ball. A shocking 93 the pitch before and a sharp breaking ball. And the count is 0-2 with the bases loaded.
That one frustrated Castro. He was unhappy with it.
And 93 for Wong is unbelievable. But, you know, Darren, you talked about his shoulder surgery, and that's absolutely true. But the way he got to that is he changed his mechanics a little bit because he hurt his foot running the bases in Houston. And anytime anybody talks about whether the DH should be allowed, you know, everywhere, Houston was a National League city at the time, they always point to Chen Min Wang because that essentially ended his career as a successful starting pitcher.
Right in on the hands, Castro fights that one off and into right field for a base hit. The Yankees adding on. He didn't hit it hard. Wong will tell you, though, I did get it in where I wanted, but it was up. And when it's up like that, a hitter is able to do just enough to get it onto that green grass.
If he gets it up like that, then he's defeating what he's in there for.
He can get all of it. He can crush it, even 93 miles an hour.
But if that's low, that's probably never play.
That is probably not play. It is all. We talk about exit velocity a lot, but it's all about combining exit velocity with launch angle. You could hit the ball 600 miles an hour, hit it straight up, you know, it's going to be an out.
Six to 3 is the score. Wong again, that elbow down low. He's pushing everything uphill.
You can see what he was trying to do there. He was trying to get inside on the hands. Didn't quite get it enough. You know, he wanted to get it really deep on that handle, but Castro did a good job kind of, you know, inside outing that ball, getting enough barrel on it to just dink it over the infielder's head. So really, Castro, fantastic job.
Having a nice night tonight.
To Will's point, that is a ground ball if that pitches at the knees, you know.
Now, see, I like this. I like the fact that the Yankees may get up enough runs to where no more Miller and no more Chapman. The idea that, like, you got your Betances and already they're warming up the pen.
So that little bloop dink that we just saw there, right? That's the 5th time this year that exact combination of exit velocity and angle have happened. It was only hit 64 miles an hour, which sounds not great at all. 24 degrees of launch angle. It's the 5th time this year that's happened. All 5 have been hits. Right? It's the perfect combination.
We found the secret.
There is a certain point where if you hit the ball harder, it's what we call the donut hole. You're going to hit it to the outfielder and it's an out.
Jason Shreve, Andrew Miller, both warming up in the pen. That's what you were talking about, Will. Maybe a chance to let Shreve get 3 outs.
So are we saying the Royals are happy that they might actually face somebody else first?
Good backer, I should say, over the inside corner. Here's the donut hole you're talking about, the Starlin Castro base hit.
Yeah, not crushed off the bat, 64 miles an hour, you know, not that much, but only 178 feet, but it's the right 178 feet. You know, it gets it over the head of the infielder. It's one of those things where it's not something you try to do. Nobody wants to hit the ball that lightly, but in terms of real live baseball games and getting runs on the board, perfect.
Well, we were talking earlier about like hitters are batting 600 or over 600.
611.
611.
Balls over 100 miles an hour.
But they're batting 1,000 on balls. Like
that's
that.
specific with the angle.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure if I looked up all balls hit below 65 miles an hour, it would probably be like 50
right. So you're saying the best strategy is not to just not hit hard?
Well, that's very complicated.
I'm sorry,
I got distracted by Mark Teixeira getting called out on strikes against Chen Min Wang.
Yeah.
I have lots of emotions right now.
We have beamed back to a time before ours.
We joke, but it's true. I can't even get pitch effect numbers on his really good seasons. Chen Min Wang. It wasn't there. Basically, in caveman days.
In 2006, he finished second. You guys remember that, to Johan Santana in the Cy Young Award voting.
As I was just told, Johan Santana that year 245 strikeouts. Chen Min Wang that year 75 strikeouts.
Rocket shot foul. He's 92, 93 miles an hour. And the StatCast just a moment ago of the strikeout of Mark Teixeira, that comebacker.
Yeah, 93 for Kc Nyy. It's unbelievable. The fact that he can even get it up that high. It was a nice pitch. It had a little bit of cutback to it, but honestly, I think Teixeira, when he watches that, he's going to be kicking himself for letting that one go, especially on 2 strikes.
Pretty good pitch on the inside corner, back in there, 91. That one had more life to it. That had good dive. That was right at the knees. McCann didn't like the call. That's a strike.
The controls have been a little off, but I have to say he's got better stuff than I realized he did.
The movement's a little better than I thought. The velocity is definitely better than I thought. And, you know, look, 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. And this next pitch is the ball game right here as far as I'm concerned.
Ready for 93, ready for it in. The thing about that pitch, and it goes back to what Teixeira did, and McCann's showing it, that's just a tough pitch to keep fair. You can make contact on that pitch, but that's a real tough pitch to keep fair. And so Wong, give him credit. Right-handed pitchers will tell you to go from the right side all the way to the inner part of the strike zone to a left-handed hitter is one of the toughest things to do.
This at-bat's been really fascinating. The first 3 pitches of McCann, outside, 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 and he let them all go by. The next 3 have all been low on the inside and been foul ball, strike, foul ball.
Yeah, arm, elbow, all below it, and he misses up. He's missed up a couple of times in a bases-loaded walk. So another run. The Yankees lead it by a score of 7-3.
And Andrew Miller sits down.
For McCann, RBI number 16 on the year. He singled and he plated a run with a walk.
Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to go up, which is not a bad strategy, but there's really no way he's going to swing at that pitch. I'd love to know what the meeting on the mound is about. So don't do that again.
Yes.
You see the bullpen options, some of which we will not see tonight unless things dramatically change. Some changes with that bullpen with Peter Moylan getting the call and Scott Alexander getting the call.
I love to see Joakim Soria back with the Royals because I remember him when the Royals were really down in the dumps for several years, and he was that ace closer. And everybody said, why are you holding on to a closer? You're a team that loses 95 games. You don't need a closer. Trade him and get some young talent. And they didn't, and he blew out his arm. And then obviously they ended up becoming a very, very good team regardless, and now he's back with the team. It's almost sad in a way. He was there when they were terrible, missed the 2 runs to the World Series, and now here he is this year when they're kind of struggling along.
I feel like he was hanging on to be the all-star representative every year.
Right, that's right.
That was really it.
Carlos Beltran. Couple of walks, a strikeout and a pop out, but the Yankees trying to ice this thing. They lead it by a score of 7-3. MLB Plus is presented by Amazon Web Services. We bring StatCast to the Yankees and the Royals tonight. What is StatCast? Here's your answer.
Several years of research and development were realized in 2014 with the debut of MLB.com StatCast, the first ever reliable measurement of every play on a baseball field. Pioneered by MLB Advanced Media and debuted with prototypes at the 2014 All-Star Game, League Championship Series, and World Series, StatCast's roots can be traced back roughly a decade earlier to MLBAM's introduction of pitch tracking. Pitch tracking delivered a never-before-seen wealth of detailed information regarding every pitch thrown in the major leagues. Though a bold move at the time, today, pitch tracking technology is ubiquitous throughout broadcast television and baseball's digital products. But despite the data compiled on pitching, never before have there been reliable defensive statistics. The goal with StatCast was to leverage the technology to ensure that defense could be quantified and that a more complete picture of our game be made available to fans. To that end, all 30 ballparks have been outfitted with 2 distinctly different but collaborative technologies to allow for the data capture, optical tracking, and radar tracking. High-definition video camera arrays spaced 15 meters apart to capture stereoscopic video, and a 3D Doppler radar system which captures 2,000 samples per second of the entire baseball field. By marrying the data from each of these systems, it is now possible to scientifically quantify the skills and talents of players on the field using new player performance metrics.